What's up, cereal bowls? It's your favorite crazy cereal, InsaneAppleJackz, here once again with the Atomic Game Squad. How are you all doing? Because I'm doing super duper chill. Hopefully you are all doing well as well, and I can provide you with your vitamins and nutrients for your entertainment breakfast. Because today we're here for another video, and in today's video, kind of want to raise your opinion, but also, just want to preference and talk about something I noticed recently. Not necessarily anything too majorly important, but it's something we should still probably talk about. So, recently I was on GameStop's website and I was just scrolling through looking for new stuff. You usually do it from time to time, even though you have a large backlog of stuff that you need to play, but that's how you create backlog, right? You don't listen to yourself when you're like, I'm not going to buy any more games until I finish these games. So, it's a thing. So while I was sitting there looking through and just scrolling around, I ended up seeing the Bioshock 10th Anniversary Collector's Edition. Now, before I go any further into this, I want to say I am glad this is a thing to an extent, because I really enjoy Bioshock. It's one of those games where it's like, oh yeah, I remember this being one of the first things that I played and owned on PS3. Oh yeah, I remember playing through it a few times and really thinking it was super interesting and not being able to stop talking about it to like my friends in high school when I first started playing it. And oh yeah, I remember my rage at the second one for having it glitch out on me a few times and just being stopped in my progression of the story. But nonetheless, it's a thing that I'm very fond of. Now granted, I didn't play it back in 2007 when it first released, but it's something that I do remember seeing the trailer for after it came out, on demand on cable, and I was watching the trailer or something, and I was really intrigued by it. I wouldn't get to play it for another 3 years because I didn't own my PlayStation 3 until I was in high school. But the major thing here is it is turning 10 and it is something to celebrate. And I'm kind of mixed on this way of celebration now, because the Bioshock 10th Anniversary Collector's Edition is going to be $200, if you don't know. Now, why is this kind of an issue? There are expensive collector's editions up and down the Wazam, and you're even buying one recently, Apple. You're getting Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which is a collector's edition in the same price bracket, right? So why does this become an issue for you? Well, let me just read off what comes with the collector's edition for Bioshock. So, this edition includes an 11-inch collectible Big Daddy and Little Sister statue featuring lights and audio and a motorized drill. Bioshock the Collection, all 3 games in DLC beautifully remastered in 1080p, and a numbered certificate of authentication. So, on one hand, I do like the statue that they're including, right? And there aren't, to my knowledge, too many Big Daddy type statues out there, right? Because they didn't really make too many, and that's why the original Bioshock Collector's Edition was such a big deal in the first place, because they weren't making too many Big Daddy figurines or statues, dependent on how you want to look at it in that category. So, it's special in the sense that it gives another piece that kind of feel, and it's special because it kind of puts it in that area where, oh, it's official and blase blase. It feels like a piece of art that would just be ripped straight out of the game itself. But at the same token, it feels like a lackluster collector's edition to me. And let's hit the big one in the room to begin with. This game is 10 years old, right? There have been 3 games. There have been 2 additional games that came out since the initial game came out, right? Now, you can get pretty much all 3 of these games if you were playing them on the PS4 for maybe $28 if you're including tax and all this other stuff. But like, not even factoring that in. Let's not even factor that in, right? There's also the addition that they recently came out with the collection remaster, right? So last year, 2016, around this time, so September 13th, I want to say, they came out with the Collector's Enhanced Edition of Bioshock, which included all 3 games, and included the remaster. And that version of the game now is $25 to like $36, depending on where you go. But right now, with my search tab open, it's like, well, 25 to 36 at the time of shooting this video. But you know that's what they're going to include inside of this collector's edition, and that's how they're going to repackage it. You're not going to remake a remake after you just remade a remake for this collector's edition specifically. At best, they might recolor the disc. They might sit up here and put in a new game art sleeve for it. But even if they do that, that's not worth the crazy price hike right there. Because there has to be something offsetting this price so much. So they're either jumping the game back up to a $60 price, which at this point, as much as I love the game, I wouldn't pay that much for the trilogy. But that's a different reason and a different set of opinions about remasters that we could get into a different day. Now, here's the thing then. The issue comes in if you're not offsetting the price on the game because you're not completely restructuring it and remaking it yourself, right? And you're just using the collector's edition that you made last year that's now a fraction of the price. Then where is this extra price coming in? And obviously you would look at the statue. And as I said, it's a good looking statue, but to offset an extra $170, somewhere in that range, right? For the statue alone. While it's cool that it's motorized, it lights up and it makes sounds, I don't know, at the same time, I got the Arkham Knight collector's edition when it was brand new, and the statue for that, it lit up, right? It kind of detached from its base and stuff like that too, but the collector's edition itself, and like the detaching was a intentional feature in it, because like he had these little pegs at the bottom of his feet, but like the initial price of that collector's edition was $150, I believe, right? So, it wasn't motorized, but it's in the same area of thought. Now, that was a brand new game that came with the statue. And the statue is probably about the same size as it, if I remember right, 9 to 11 inches in height. So, to kind of think about this as a triplet set of games that have been remastered, the remaster's not even new at this point. And the most that I'm getting out of this would be the statue as a fan. It kind of has this off-putting feel to me. Now, granted, I know if this does sell like hotcakes, like it should, because of the whole statue thing, its price probably won't go down, and I'm probably going to be super mad at this. But I'm someone who owns the game 3 times over already, not including the remaster because I was waiting on the remaster for some time, because I was like, well, I have it. If I really want to play it, I could play the originals to begin with and just chill out for now. So, thinking about it as somebody who owns it 3 times over, and with it being a game like this, it's easy to see people owning it that many times. It's easy to see people who own all 3 of the games, even if you don't own it as many times as I do. It's easy to see people who went out and bought the $60 version with all 3 of them enhanced for the PS4 last year, and then for the PS4, Xbox, and Steam, and think, yeah. But really, then in this case, who is this for? Granted, we do need to celebrate this game's 10th anniversary. Don't get me wrong here. But the offset feels so wrong. It feels like they kind of screwed themselves in timing with this too. Had they not released the collector's pack last year, I feel like it wouldn't hurt as bad. It wouldn't feel like such a steep price to pay for a collection. But, because, then you would have the $50 option, and then you would have the collector's option right there. Granted, I still wouldn't have wanted it to be $200, but it would have been more exemptable in this case, rather than sitting here saying, oh, well, the game is now a fraction of its remaster price. But you're still going to pay for it like it's a new collection. It's a new collector's edition with a pretty lackluster inclusion for a collector's edition. I'm not saying go the full 9 yards and, say we have 3 statues. We have the soundtrack and we have X, Y, and Z. But even in the past, while I didn't get the first Bioshock's collector's edition, I did get Infinite's. And Infinite had a ton of stuff packs in it. And, I don't know, Infinite ran me $150 for it. It had the statue for the Songbird. It had a bunch of little knickknacks like, stuff for their board game that they were trying to do. They had the soundtrack and like keychains and other things. Memorabilia that makes it feel like it goes a long way rather than just the statue itself. Because if I wanted just the statue itself, while it might not be the official content or it might not be license based, right? It might not be from them and how they would do it. There are still other ways to get statues of that style and that caliber, and if you go out and you search hard enough, you'd probably find something that looked a lot better for around this price range, and you wouldn't be paying the extra cash for the game. Granted, the game is nice to experience, and it's nice to have it all together, but it's just the idea of it at this price range doesn't feel right. So, that's my 2 cents on it. Whether or not you're going to pick it up, I'd like to hear that. Because, it'd be nice to know somebody that actually has this in their collection. But I don't think I'll be getting it myself with all these other cool collector's editions coming up and all the stuff that can kind of be got outside of even collector's editions for that amount of cash. If you haven't played Bioshock yet, though, don't let this deter you. I don't want you to sit up here and think I have any bad feelings about the game at all. It's not about the game itself. It's about the packaging, the repackaging of the game. Granted, if you find the collector's version of it, the 3 games in 1 bundle that they have right now, for the 20 to 30 I was talking about at the beginning of the video, by all means, go out, go play it. It's totally worth your play. But I can't recommend to get this collector's edition. With all that being said, and me rambling on for a bit, I'll sit up here and send you guys over to the end of the box. And we are back at the end of the box where we just sat up here and finished a super rambly type video, but hopefully you enjoyed it still. I appreciate you guys for letting me ramble on and, just kind of hearing me out on this, because this was something that I was kind of thinking about when I saw it, and I was like, well, I need to have a conversation about this, because is this a thing that should be happening? Is this a thing that's going to keep happening as we continue to celebrate, like, games anniversaries and things like that? So, I appreciate it. To anybody that watched this video, big thumbs up to you guys. I appreciate you for just coming through and giving me your time and letting me sit up here and talk to you, whether you watched a few seconds, whether you watched a few minutes. I appreciate that. Super duper big thumbs up to anybody that watched this video all the way through from start to finish. I appreciate you guys for hearing me on and just taking the time to get to listen to the full point of what I'm talking about. Rather, it always makes sense or it doesn't make sense. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and let me know that. If you didn't, feel free to give it a thumbs down. That works too. If you want to leave a comment down below, feel free to leave a comment. Rather it's, what's up? How you doing? Hey. Or if it's something more so about what we were talking about in the video today. If you haven't checked out any of my social medias or stuff like that, the links are always down below in the description if you want to look at that. Or if you're new here, there's the little face thing right there if you want to subscribe and join the Cereal Bowl Nation, as well as the button down below for you to join the greatest nation on the internet. With all of that being said, there's also videos off to the side. If you want to keep watching more of my content, on the screen there's 2 videos that should be suggested. And with that being said, I guess I'm done here. So, munch, munch, munch. Peace out. That's a wrap. And I'll catch you guys later.